A couple of years ago, I made a video about the letter which some Germans insist on calling scharfes S, despite the fact that it is 100% correctly referred to as SZ, and nothing will convince me otherwise, so there. Anyway, at the time there was no official uppercase version, but that has now changed, as many of you have pointed out, including my patron Evan, who suggested I make this video. So, a little background. This character basically represents two S's. That's the simplified explanation. In truth, it is a bit more complicated than that. But because it was originally formed from two lowercase letters stuck together, the first being an old version of the lowercase s, there has never officially been an uppercase version, until now. And most of the time, it wasn't needed. There is no word in the German language that begins with this letter, so you would only ever need it if you were writing in all caps. And hopefully you don't make a habit of doing that. But there are contexts where all caps is acceptable, and in such cases the official rules used to state that the correct thing to do was to write a double S. That normally doesn't cause any problems. In fact, in Switzerland and Liechtenstein the SZ isn't used at all and everything works perfectly fine. There are some examples where theoretically it could make a difference, but these examples are contrived and never actually occur in real life. But there is a genuine issue when it comes to proper nouns, especially surnames, because proper nouns don't necessarily have to follow the usual rules, and that can make a difference. Thus, if your family name is Gross, it might be officially recorded with an SZ or with a double S. Each family will have its own rules on that. On official documents like ID cards, names are usually written in block capitals. If you follow the official rules exactly, you wouldn't always know whether a name is being spelled with an SZ or a double S. So it's long been the practice for ID cards to use a lowercase SZ in the human readable section, which is officially incorrect, but it does make the difference clear. Now, the government can use the new uppercase SZ and be both officially correct and non-ambiguous. The new rules make it clear that writing SS in capital letters is still considered correct. This is just an alternative, so nobody has to rush out and repaint all the signs. If they were correct before, they're still correct today. This has been an issue since at least the 19th century, so why has it taken the Council for German Orthography so long to fix it? Well, the Council doesn't see itself as laying down the law, but rather issuing guidelines to help maintain consistent standards, and until now that consistency has been the problem. When computers first appeared that supported characters used in Western European languages, there were only 256 available characters, and so some compromises had to be made. The character Y with a diaeresis is sometimes seen in French, but never at the beginning of a word. So instead of a capital version of that letter, computers had a lowercase SZ. There wasn't room in the character set for both versions of both letters. Well, now we're all using Unicode, and the capital SZ should now be available to everyone. Hooray! Should be. One of my Twitter followers tweeted at me in capital letters, and on the Android platform at least, the Twitter app leaves a blank space where the capital SZ should be. So clearly things aren't working completely reliably just yet. Also, on current keyboards there is no obvious way to get at the character. On my system, for example, I have to press 3 keys at once. So what's changed? Well, nothing much. It's just that if you do use the capital SZ, you can now say it's official, unless of course you're in Switzerland or Liechtenstein. The only thing you really need to be aware of is that there may still be some technical problems with it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.